You think your greatest loves are accidents? They are not. What if I told you the most profound encounters of your life are never random? What if they are echoes of a destiny whispered long before you were born? Carl Jung, the depth psychologist and cartographer of the soul, revealed a truth we often forget. Your inner world, your very psyche, is not separate from the great cosmic dance unfolding around you. They are not merely threads, but strands of living light vibrating in concert upon the same invisible loom of creation. And when it comes to soul-level love, the kind that rearranges your very atoms, that web does not simply shimmer. It ignites with an otherworldly luminescence, drawing you ever deeper into its sacred geometry, where chance becomes meaning, and the stranger before you becomes a mirror of the infinite within. What you call coincidence, Jung called synchronicity, and synchronicity is how the universe truly speaks. Jung wrote, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see." When a soulmate steps into your sphere, it is never, ever an accident. It is the universe itself, a vast, sentient intelligence, answering a silent, primordial plea from the depths of your own soul. A plea you may have uttered lifetimes ago, and perhaps, without knowing it, you are still uttering it now. But here lies a deeper gnosis, a hidden truth whispered only to those who listen. The very way the universe weaves your soulmate into your life reveals the ancestral blueprint of your connection and the inner wilderness that this sacred mirror will compel you to confront. For the shadow lives at the heart of this wilderness, shaping us from within until we are ready to see it. The shadow, as Jung taught, is the unseen part of the psyche, the forgotten, the repressed, the unclaimed. And love, in its highest form, does not merely echo our light. It illuminates what still waits to be integrated. Carl Jung wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." There are 3 ways this often happens, and each one carries a hidden message for your soul's path. You will likely recognize yourself in one of them. And once you do, you may never look at love the same way again. But you should know first that the universe, in its boundless wisdom, cares nothing for your earthly schedules. It listens instead to the resonant hum of your deepest becoming, the soul's ancient song of unfolding. You believe you just happened to miss that flight. You imagine a sudden boredom led you into that quiet cafe. You think you decided on a whim to take that weekend trip. But beneath these surface ripples, another current was already stirring. And into that unseen flow, guided by an invisible hand, the universe delivers a meeting, a face, a moment, etched with a familiarity that bypasses time itself. A singular charged instant that doesn't merely shift your life, it realigns the very axis of your becoming. Sometimes, the universe sends someone utterly unexpected. You are not looking. You are not ready. You may not even believe in such things, and then, there they are, a stranger, in a place you weren't supposed to be. An eye contact that is not merely seen, but felt. A visceral tremor that stirs an ancient knowing in your bones. There is no rational explanation for the pull, but your heart knows before your mind can catch up. It feels like a timeless recognition, as if a hidden mirror has been unveiled before you. And in that reflection, something primal awakens, longing, desire, and the distant echo of dreams you never knew you held. The universe, in its profound alchemy, uses encounters like these to reawaken sleeping forces within your soul. It sends someone whose presence acts as a tuning fork, resonating with forgotten creativity, long-buried emotion, and the sacred polarities you've allowed to lie dormant. This is one of the sacred ways the universe introduces a soulmate to you, an unexpected connection, rising seemingly out of nothing. But here, Jung's timeless warning emerges. We do not see others as they are. We see them as we are. Such encounters often awaken what Jung called the Anima and the Animus, the inner feminine and the inner masculine, the archetypal figures that live in the depths of your psyche. If you are a man, it is the Anima, an inner image of woman that both inspires and enchants. If you are a woman, it is the Animus, an inner image of man, often idealized, often haunting. These figures are not conscious. They shape the currents of your love and longing from beneath the surface, and when triggered by a soulmate encounter, they flood the psyche with symbolic force. Jung wrote, "The encounter with the Anima brings a release of fantasy activity and a flood of symbolic images." The same is true for the Animus. When the universe sends such a mirror, what awakens first is not the other person. It is the forgotten inner image they ignite within you. And here lies the caution. In such incandescent moments, it is dangerously easy to project your unintegrated shadow, your unmet needs, your wounded fantasies, onto the luminous being before you. You may become enthralled, not by their essence, but by the reflections they awaken in your psyche. And this is why such love can feel consuming, yet unstable. It is the mirror of the soul. And not all mirrors can be held for long, but the universe knows this. And sometimes, this is precisely the lesson it wants to give you. And sometimes the universe chooses a subtler path. It does not send a stranger. It sends someone you already know, or once knew. A friend of a friend. A figure from your past, or a familiar presence that suddenly feels unfamiliar because you have changed, or they have changed, or both of you, shifted by time, by loss, by unseen growth, now meeting again in a hidden crossroad of your becoming, a place behind the visible horizons of the past, where the deeper currents of your awakening have quietly drawn you back together. This, too, is one of the sacred ways the universe introduces a soulmate into your life, not through the spark of the unknown, but through the rekindling of the known, and often through the invitation to unfold what could not have been touched before. For this soul meets you at a threshold. There are lessons the soul can only glimpse in solitude, and there are others that require the presence of another. Through such familiar souls, the universe offers a new spiral of becoming, one that now asks to be danced in relationship. As Jung wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." Such encounters are alchemical by nature, not to confront what was unhealed, but to reveal what can now be shared in the light of new awareness. The dance is no longer about repair, it is about creation. Such relationships are often marked by deep resonance and a quiet recognition of shared evolution. You may meet again not to revisit the past, but to walk a new path together, one that neither of you could unfold alone. For there are lessons the soul can only glimpse in solitude, and there are others that require the presence of another. In such meetings, the universe is not merely testing you, it is inviting you to explore, with new eyes, the spiral dance of growth that unfolds between two evolving beings. And if moments of old shadow arise, they do so only as passing echoes, opportunities to walk forward with greater awareness, not with fear. When you ask, "What can we now learn together that neither of us could learn alone?" you honor the deeper intelligence that brought you here. And then, there are the rare ones, the moments when the universe moves with such grace that it humbles you. Here, the outer form of the meeting no longer matters. It may arrive through a stranger, An old friend, a friend of a friend, an ex returning after years of separation, a quiet synchronicity. For this meeting is not defined by where or how, but by when the self is ready to share its becoming. You encounter a soul, and there is no urgent pull, no bewildering dance of confusion, no intricate game of pretense, only a profound, effortless stillness, a knowing that transcends linear time, as if you have always known them. Across lifetimes, across countless star-born nights, a deep recognition, a cosmic homecoming. Conversation flows. Silence feels full, not empty. You do not perform. You are simply allowed to be. The universe, in its quiet wisdom, sends such companions not to complete a fragmented self, but to walk beside you, to mirror your truest essence, to gently support the sacred unfolding of your higher becoming. And here, Jung's highest teaching comes alive. He wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." When the soul reaches a certain threshold, what Jung called the process of individuation, the universe may bring companions who mirror not your wounds, but your emerging self. The self is not only the center but the whole circumference, which embraces both conscious and unconscious. It is the center of this totality, Jung explained. Such companions do not trigger the unfinished parts of you. They resonate with the integrated whole you are now becoming and invite you to unfold further. And this is why they often appear only after deep inner work. The soul must first become sovereign in its own spiral, able to walk alone, able to hold its own center. Then, and only then, does the universe open the possibility of such shared unfolding. And often, these are the loves that remain, or they walk with you for a time, through a luminous arc of shared growth. If they depart, they do so with grace, not rupture, for their purpose was never to shatter you, but to remind you what true connection can be, a space where you do not lose yourself. You become more fully yourself, and this is perhaps the universe's greatest gift of all. So now you may wonder, have I walked these paths already? Which of these is still waiting for me? But remember, this is not something you can plan. The universe does not follow your calendar. It listens to your inner state. It watches for the deeper readiness of your soul. And when the time comes, when something within you calls out strongly enough, the world will shift. The current will change, and the next face will appear. When that happens, recognize the moment, see it for what it is, a sacred turning in the spiral of your becoming. Each meeting, each crossing, guided not by chance, but by the quiet intelligence of the path you are now ready to walk. And if these words spoke to something within you, if you are called to explore love, shadow, and synchronicity through the deeper wisdom of the soul, then I invite you to walk this path with us here. We trace the currents beneath the visible and honor the unfolding of the unseen. Subscribe and remain open, for what the universe may send next is already moving toward you.